A lot to like.
No, there's a lot. Let me just say this. Daniel Jones has definitely improved from last year.
Yep.
Okay? Malik Neighbors is outstanding.
That's what I said.
Currently, he's got a game up on everybody. He's got 32 catches that leads the league.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 1.
Right now.
Yeah.
He has been special.
Chris and I have him on our fantasy.
He can run all the routes.
He
is an outstanding route runner.
He's really good, man.
He is really
saw why people had him ahead of Marvin Harrison.
I get it. I see it. And the Giants are exploiting it. And he's only going to get better. And he is a playmaker. That is terrific. He got concussed at the end of the game, wasn't on the field at the end of the game, where the Giants, because Aubrey missed his first field goal, and that had a few people ripping up a ticket or two in the country, apparently.
Not me.
And good.
Thought you took the Giants.
And who's second? Wandale Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just where did that come from?
There were some when Jones did the deep ball, they're just a little off. His deep balls weren't crisp. Some of the other receivers on the Giants dropped catchable footballs. Catchable footballs. The defense is doing its job. Jones is seeming to avoid the mind-boggling, like, did you really go to Duke type plays? You know what I mean? Like, you should be smart enough to not do that.
Wow.
Honestly, like, that's the sort of they used his legs from time to time to pick up first downs.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't run a little bit more yesterday.
Dude.
Yeah.
This was Daniel Jones after the game for the Giants.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. We're expected to score touchdowns and put points on the board, and in a game that I felt like we were able to do a lot and move the ball well and execute a lot of stuff well. We didn't execute the red zone stuff and didn't punch it in. So that's frustrating, yeah.
If they didn't have their kicker get hurt in Washington, they potentially win week 2. Mm-hmm. If they were able to score in the red last night, and they win the game.
Yeah, seemingly just punch one of those in.
They win the game. They have an opportunity to be 3-1 instead of 1-3, and that's just the difference in the NFL between being 2 over and 2 under. That's it right there. One game, they unfortunately lost their kicker, and they couldn't get it in the end zone, and they lose. Another game, they do get it in the end zone, and their defense overcomes a turnover on the first play of the game, on the kickoff, and the Browns score, and the Giants absorb that on the road and win that game. That's toughness right there. And then last night, they just didn't get it in the end zone and dropped some balls here, and I didn't blame Dayball for kicking the field goal instead of going for it on 4th down inside the red zone, because then, you're now within another field goal of winning that game. Unfortunately, Brandon Aubrey just keeps making them from 60 yards away.
Right.
And so if you defensively give up a couple first downs, you're gonna lose that way. And trust me, the Falcons on Sunday night could have used that extra 3 points that they did not go ahead and get, because they decided to go for it on 4th down. Raheem Morris said, I'm not going to let Patrick Mahomes beat me, so I'm going to go be aggressive. And had they kicked a field goal there later on, instead of going for a touchdown at the end or needing a touchdown at the end, they could have kicked a field goal and won. Same thing with Philadelphia. But guess who bailed Philadelphia out? And that is something the fruit hangs low, and I know it may sound unfair, but if you had a different 26 running, and I know I'm laying it at the feet of somebody like Devin Singletary here, who had a nice first couple weeks, but do you think they would have won that game last night if they had Saquon Barkley?
Without question.
What about in Washington in week 2? I'm just saying, and I know it's easy to say, and the fruit hangs low, and I do not know who would not be on this team right now, who was making plays last night for Dallas to put the Giants in a position to win, because Saquon would have eaten up the cap space that they used to sign that guy. It is so easy for somebody in my position to say these things because I don't have to back it up by saying, well, I'm thinking about the guy that they currently have that made plays last night. And who would that person be? We will never know. Just like we will never know what Saquon have done for the Giants last night, what he did for Nick Sirianni and bailing him out in New Orleans last week, or what he would have did for the Eagles in week 1. Would he have done it for the Giants in week 1 against Minnesota? Would that have made a difference or anything like that? But it's just they are missing that extra spark and that extra. Could you imagine if they had Saquon to go with Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson and Daniel Jones was playing like he's playing? You got to sit here and think that if you're a Giant fan. And I'm sorry if you're not, as a Giant fan, you think this is unfair. I'm seeing the Giants in Munich. I might even hear a little bit from them if I sit down with them. Well, I will sit down with them. Yeah. When I sit down with them, maybe so. I'm just telling you how I'm like sitting there wondering, oh, that's right. They gave Singletary Saquon's number to actually crystallize this. That's my take on the Giants. Better, unfortunately, instead of 3-1, they're 1-3, and but they're competitive, as opposed to last year when they were having trouble competing and staying in games. And next up for the G-Men, they are taking on, they're in Seattle before Cincinnati at home, and then Philadelphia, that Saquon game at Pittsburgh, home for Washington. Let's go before Munich. Okay. Some interesting games for them coming up. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.